Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. John Humanity here. It's about 4:30 in the morning. I just wanted to make a video about the question of whether or not all of Hollywood is transgendered. And my answer to that would be that it's kind of complicated because I would assume that most of the people on the media, most of the people on TV, and most of the people on just that are publicly known as public figures are going to be either transgendered or of the opposite chromosomes or something like that, or just there's got to be some sort of active deception on there, because something I really noticed with a lot of people and a lot of things in the media and in TV culture is that there's this blind following of just you don't you don't know what you're seeing on the TV ever. You really don't know at all. I just watched something even about these protests over at Berkeley College by liberals against a right-wing conservative author named Milo Yiannopoulos. And I'm almost convinced that Milo himself is transgendered, and I'm almost convinced that a lot of the alt-right could be transgendered. Maybe not Gavin McInnes. That guy looks like he could be a dude. But I think it's very interesting that almost in all facets of media that get a lot of coverage, like, for example, if you can get like 20,000 shares on Facebook, or even like, that's not even that much of anything. Okay. So, I would assume that all of these people are being placed into positions of power themselves, and that even if they come from backgrounds that are verifiable, those backgrounds are probably vetted before anything ever happens, before they even start their lives. And so when you see that someone has like a credible background and you can find where they were working and stuff, and you can make a whole list of connections and stuff, that really, I don't think that has much to do with anything, because all of the world is so compartmentalized that it's so easy to slip people under the radar and just have them be actors in real life too. I've been talking about the possibility of 20% of the population being agents of some sort or having connections with the government. I'm not really sure how accurate that number is, but I am sure that there is at least a large enough percentage of the population that is connected with government and government operations. Even if it's 1 to 2%, 1 to 2% of the current globally accepted population numbers, or population count, the census, would be something like 160,000 people. I mean, 160 million people. I apologize for that. It's late or early. Oh. Um, so that 160 million people, that's enough people to infiltrate, I mean, every single organization in the entire world in almost all of the countries. I mean, that's about 1 million people per country or more. That's a huge amount of people. That's if you can't imagine how large that amount of people is, just imagine that it would be 1 million people out of all the people in the US. That's a huge number of people, okay? And let's just say that the people at these marches and these protests lately, let's say that they're not even all, that they are real people, that those are not actors or anything like that. They could be rallied together by people who are just rallying together the real people to see exactly what they can get away with. I think that it's really fascinating that we're seeing so many sort of perfectly planned stunts. For example, there's a video of a girl basically saying, uh, I'm so glad that all these people are actually peacefully protesting, but it's definitely not all of them. And then she turns around and gets pepper sprayed in the face, and it's so perfectly planned, and it's being shot from like 4 different angles, and so you can find like 4 different angles of this girl being interviewed. That's not normal at all. I don't know what people think is normal and what people think is real, but that is not a natural sort of thing to happen. That would be like the most it's like a one in a like 100,000 chance that something like that would happen with like four different cameras watching you and stuff. I know that we live in a camera culture, but I think that that idea of living in a camera culture is a parasitic one in itself. It's totally introduced. I don't think that a lot of people pull out their phones and videotape stuff. I have never seen that in real life ever. Never once in my life ever, except for at concerts. At concerts I do see it, but I have a feeling that a lot of these concerts and stuff with these celebrities that come around, there's a lot of real people, but then there's a lot of, I wouldn't say, I guess I wouldn't call them agents, but I would say that they are getting free tickets to be there for whatever reason. I don't think that a lot of these celebrities have the amount of money that we assume that they have. I think that it's all controlled. I think that they do this, they are in this life artificially and they are being replaced as they go. I think that if they are all transgendered and they are all um, basically controlled, then there's really nothing that you can believe about them, their lives, what they do, or just anything about them. I would just say that everything on the TV is one big show, and that the things that the TV does to your mind and the way and the amount of time it takes to deprogram yourself from TV programming, for example, I'm in this church right now, and I can just tell that these people are like programmed to run on really passive aggressive and just like double speak demonic programming. You can just tell, and I can tell that this would have been my fate as well. I just don't watch the TV, and I don't believe anything on the media. I don't believe anything with Trump. I don't believe anything with these riots. I don't believe anything with these women's marches because when you watch them with a critical lens, you can see that they're all programmed, that these people are dead-eyed and hypnotized, that they don't have any real critical thoughts happening in their heads, that they are just repeating off rhetoric that they have heard before, and they aren't allowing it to process in their higher level thinking skills. So their eyes are completely glazed over and dead, and they're just parroting like a robot. And how am I supposed to believe that any of that is real and any of that has any bearing on the real world? Because if anyone with a real critical lens can't see, if you can't see that that is all propaganda and fake, then I don't know what to tell you. It is, it's just fake, it's all fakery. And that these people who are conducting these interviews and they might be real, some of them might be real, but the vast majority of public figures are completely 100% not real. Okay, sorry about that. I had an interruption, and I think it's going to be a little bit of a pause in between this. So, yeah, I just wouldn't believe anything that you see on that TV at all. I would just turn it off if I were you because everything that it creates and everything that it represents is just horribly skewed off of how reality actually works, and I don't think there's anything on there that's promoting anything that's altruistic or self-sacrificing or giving. I think it's all just horrible. Um, so I just would turn it off, and I would just not believe anything I see on there, and I would believe that everything on there is totally controlled and totally being put out there with a lot of purpose. Because when you think about it, everything, all of these videotapes and footage and everything, it has to be taken to an editing room and uploaded to a database, and then it has to be exported and condensed, and the pictures that you see all have to be gone, they all go through an editing process, and there's people that have to do all this editing, and they have to all be in sync with each other to release it all at the same time and stuff. It's a lot of things that have to happen that are totally artificial and totally don't make any sense. I mean, when you see these pictures of these marches and stuff with videos and stuff all coming out at the same time, all of these people, and if you see things like that girl who's coming from four different angles with the same camera, and like the camera quality doesn't really change from camera to camera, they would have had to take down all the names of all those people with the videos, and then all those people would have to go home and upload and then email them to a database, and then all of those videos would have to be edited together to show what is being shown. And it's not, I know that people like think that sharing on Facebook and stuff gets viral, but that's really not a it's not a real thing. It's really not. Like Viral posts are also controlled as well. It's all controlled, so I just wouldn't even believe it. I just wouldn't believe anything that comes off the TV or has anything to do with TV. So that's my answer to you. Are they all transgendered? Who knows and who cares? Because everything on there's a lie. Everything that you see on there is a complete and total fabrication. So why even bother yourself with thinking about are they all or is there any that are real? No, because they're all not real anyway. So who cares? It's really not a big deal. It's just not at all.